everybody. Happy Thursday. Woo, boy. Uh, Y&R did not disappoint today. Thank you, God. Okay. So, I say this all the time, but whenever Peter Bergman is on the show, I know it's going to be good. And then there was Roger Howard was in the show today too. So, I'm a very happy girl today. Okay, let's see. Start from the start. Okay, everybody is in New York City, for Malcolm's treatment, and they all find out good news that he's recovering. Everything went as good as it could, and then Holden says, Mom, you should be more excited, and she's like, No, no, honey, we're doctors. We wait and then we celebrate. So I'm like, okay. Okay. So then, they kind of have to call Kane and tell him how everything went. So Billy Flynn is laying there and dead and kind of just reading a book or something. And the phone rings. And of course, he picks it up. And he's like, oh, hi, how you doing? How's Malcolm doing? And she says, oh, well, I'll wait until somebody tells you. And then they all kind of jump up and start cheering. And they're like, it's great. He's great. And he's all happy. Okay. Then continuing with that part, Claire was out of the scene for a minute. And he came back in the room. Holden came back to the room. And there was something already there waiting for him. And then they said, "Oh, what is this?" And they're teasing him. And then Lily and Vivica A. Fox were talking about, "Oh, what are they? Are they dating or not? Or will they? Won't they?" And he's like, "I don't know. Just we're just friends." Oh yeah, I bet you are. And then Claire, they have Haley Aaron come in the scene, and then Lily and them leave. And she says, what's that about? And he says, I don't know. Trying to play it off. Then then Claire gives him a jacket, and it's a really nice jacket. And she says, I know it would be a perfect fit. And he says, I was thinking the same thing. And then they start making out. Okay, you want to talk about a happy person over here? Me. I'm like, whoa, they're making out. Oh boy, this is gonna lead to something. All right. But then they cut. I was like, dang it. Okay. Otherwise, um, okay. Poor Matt, but Roger Howard can. Okay, this is proof Roger Howard can act in any situation known to mankind. The poor man, well, the stunt double at first, I'm guessing, was in that awkward position. It turns out he's all like, I don't know, I'm trying to say it nicely, kind of restricted, right? And I'm like, whoa, okay, so he made it. Oh, wow, okay. And then he's screaming. He's trying to scream, but he can't really scream, right? Okay, so then Phyllis has left him, and I mean left him to the point where she's meeting with Nick and Nick, because she says, "Well, what is Christine gonna promise me, and what's gonna happen?" And Nick says, "I don't know. She's gonna work it out." And um, Phyllis says, "What do you mean work it out? Because we've had many years of animosity. I don't trust her." Okay. So then, okay. Then going along with the Matt storyline, Patty just happens to knock at the door, and he's trying to scream, right? But she can't get in because she doesn't have the key. So then she persuades a maid or something. I'm sorry, a housekeeper, whatever they call them, right? To let her in the door. And the person says, no, I shouldn't do it and whatever. Then the only way Patty kind of persuades her to do it is she says there'll be a huge tip involved. And then she opens the door. And then, of course, Matt is still on the floor. And then, so here's the funniest part of today. The funniest part. Okay. So then Stacy Hadouk has to play it off of like me and my boyfriend. We like to play games and, whatever. And the housekeeper is all shocked. Funniest thing I've ever seen. Oh my God. Okay. So then here's the other storyline, which I didn't know they were going to come to this one, which I'm glad they finally got here. Okay. So Nikki is trying to let Victor in on what's going on with Nicholas, right? So he doesn't know. Well, he did know about everything with Nicholas, but he says he's an adult. It was up to him to call you. So then she says, well, we have to present a united front. And he's like, okay. And then she mentions Jack, and he says, why do you think I care about Jack Abbott? Oh my God. Then he has a freak out, and she leaves, right? So then she just happens to kind of be in the same place as Jack and Kyle are having lunch. And Jack and Kyle, Peter Bergman and Michael Miller had their moment today where he says, well, you're not going to still use Patty as leverage against Victor, are you? And he's like, yes, I am. And then Kyle calmly, for me, points out, well, I thought our plan was to use me so he wouldn't see me coming. And then I feel like Jack has totally abandoned that plan because he said, well, you were supposed to focus on getting back together with Mom, meaning Diane. And he says, well, son, I have. I've tried everything I can think of, and anything I do drives her further away, so I don't know what to do anymore. And so, okay. So then the best moment, but also the weirdest moment, was Jack and Nikki are at lunch at the table, right? And he says, I shouldn't tell you this. And Nikki says, what are you talking about? And then he lays out how Victor was behind everything that happened to Jack, and that he planted Patty on him, planted the stuff, planted the whole thing, right? And she's like, and the look on her face, I can't even do that with my face. It was like shock and disgust in the same moment. I was like, whoa. So there's how many years they've been married? Marriage down the drain. Oh boy. Boy howdy. Yeah. Okay. So then, wow. I mean, that alone is a lot to process, right? So that was everything that was going on today. But then if that is today and today's so good, tomorrow's Friday. So it's going to be dynamite. Or it should, man. So anyway, I'll come back with an extra. I will. Because I'll have plenty of thoughts. But bye, everybody.